Hey guys, welcome back to Witch Baby Wednesdays. Today we're going to talk about the first Hermetic Principle. This is a follow-up from last week. We're doing the whole series on the 7 Hermetic Principles. If you don't know what the 7 Hermetic Principles are, check out the video that I did last week on that. This is just going a little bit deeper into each of the specific ones. So today we're going to talk about the first Hermetic Principle, the Principle of Mentalism. If you want to watch that, keep it rolling.
One day I'll be a queen with a kingdom all for me, and I'll cherish everything as I drop to my knees, 'cause I know.
Hi everybody, Darian here from Darian Empire. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome to my world. Welcome to our beautiful, empowering, witchy, magical community. I have been doing this for a long time. I have lots of amazing videos. I used to do a series called Freedom Friday on this channel, helping to teach people how to free themselves and live their dreams. That really is a prerequisite for magic. And now I have found myself in this world of witchcraft in the last year from the Lightworker world. And I think I'm just guiding my followers along. So welcome if you're here, whatever brought you here. If you're interested, wonderful. Definitely subscribe if you want to keep getting these videos. If you want to get new videos, hit the bell for notifications so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Okay, so the first Hermetic principle is the principle of mentalism. They say all is mind. So when they talk about the all, what they're talking about essentially is God. So what is really cool about this is a few different things, but the thing that is most prominent to me and how you can apply this principle to your life is that every single thing is mental. Every single thing is in the mind. Every single thing starts in the mind. Everything is experienced through the mind. That we are in the mind of the all, which is God. Also, this concept that essentially the all is all. That is God, right? The all. This concept that we are all one. So even if you look at this from a standpoint of physics, or if you look at this from a standpoint of philosophy, or really any standpoint, the fact that we are all one means that we came from one source. Some people call that source. I call that source. I call it source energy. So we all come from one source. We were birthed out of the mind of God, but we also equally, because of that, have the mind of God within us. And the one thing that really, while I was reading the Kybalion, that's where all of this information has come through me, into my mind, through here, through the computer screen, into the camera. Isn't that cool? But that the Kybalion talks about how the all, meaning God, is all. It is all. It is every single thing. It is the source of all things. And so because of that, the all could not possibly do anything that was not benevolent. Like if you really think about how the all is one, it means that at the source of all of us, the source of everything is a benevolent God, a benevolent energy. Even what we perceive, and we'll talk about this in different principles, but what we perceive as polarity, what we perceive as good and evil, that really is all relative. The all oneness that is us, from where we come from, that didn't make sense grammatically, but you know what I'm saying? Where we come from, the source that we come from, it is one source, meaning it is never against itself. It is never against itself. Why would source ever be against itself, right? So when you think about it like that, it's like we can all find solace in the fact that there is no, there's no man in the sky that's judging our every move. And even when it comes to demons, which I haven't even touched that subject because I haven't gotten into that subject. I haven't gotten into studying that subject because for me personally, it just wouldn't, I don't really have a need for it. You know what I mean? Like I I have angels to do things for me, so I don't really need it. I just don't find a purpose for myself personally right now. If that's your thing, great. But even when you think about it with angels and demons, right? That's all sort of like that's our own mind making up things, essentially. It really is our own mind making up things. Now, oh my God. The crazy thing about these principles and the cool thing about these principles is that each of these principles bleed into one another. So I could go into so many of these, and I'm trying to just stick to this one. But as you watch this series collectively, you'll get a sense of how all of this kind of blends in and how it all makes sense with one another. You know, as I'm talking, it's like I can feel the questions being born, and they will be answered through other principles. But the all is one. We are all one. We all come from one source. Also, that the world is mental. So let's say that there are layers of existence, right? That we have these different planes of existence. And at the very core of our existence is source energy. It just is everything. It's everything. Not even just the physical things that we're looking at, literally everything around me, you and I, but far beyond that. And so that sort of branches off into, let's just say, for purposes of just demonstrating this, that there's the level of the spirit realm, right, where God branches off into different spirits, different entities, right, different souls. And because those souls are a creation of the mind of God. Now, those souls, being of God, energy, right? The Bible would say God made us in his likeness, right? That doesn't mean we look like God. That means we have the power of God within us. And so just as we are in the mind of God, let's say the source within us, our soul is in the mind of God, our lives, our physical apparatus is in the mind of ourselves. So we create the world that we see from our own experience. We create our own kaleidoscope all through our mind. All through our mind. There is not a single thing in this world that is made from the physical. Everything has to come first from the mind into the physical. It has to. It does. There is no breaking of that rule. Whether you perceive it differently is a whole nother story. You may think that because you take a physical action, that's why something happens, but it's not. Everything starts in the mind. Everything is created from the mind. Everything. Now, that's kind of why I have always been, I've never been one of those people when I talk about the law of attraction, where I've been like, the most important part is action. You got to take action. If you're not following, if you're not, taking action to make your dreams come true, then nothing's ever going to happen. That's not true. That's a fucking belief. That is not true. Are you kidding me? Do you know how many things I have manifested sitting in my house, just being in my mind of joyfulness, just envisioning things, not actually. The only action that I take is like writing down things that I love, writing down what I would like my life to look like. That's about as far as I'll go with action. But like, go out and make your dreams happen? No. Yes, I've done that, and yes, it's been exhilarating, but it's not necessary to manifest things. We want to do that. We want to do things. We want to experience the physical, but this idea that like you have to take action to manifest, it literally contradicts every notion and every idea that we know of the law of attraction. So when people talk about that, it doesn't make any sense to me, but so there's that. But, you know what? Okay, so what's coming to me is the people that say that, they don't understand the difference between they don't understand that it's not that they don't understand. Of course they don't understand, but it's more that their taking action actually is mental, but it's so seamless that they don't even understand the difference. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't understand the difference that like that their mind is creating that action, and it's their will of taking that action. It's not the actual action. If you have enough will and you're ready to take the action, that's enough. You don't have to actually take the action. But anyway, I digress. So, you know, the biggest takeaway for me there is that this is a benevolent universe that we live in. And also that, you know, the universe was created in the mind of God, right? That's why, like, when you go to nature feels really neutral. When you meditate on the energy of nature, so if I teach in my How to Rock It as an Empath course, I teach how to harness earth energy and cosmic energy, because those are neutral energies. They don't have an ego. They don't have, I guess they do sort of have a mind, but it's not nearly as complex as ours, to the point where it gets in the way, where we really can create an entire fun house that's not so fun of life, because we have the ability to just create an optical illusion for ourselves, where we believe something that maybe nobody else in the world believes, and it becomes real for ourselves. Sometimes that's fun. Sometimes it's fun to do that. When it feels terrible to be in that, it's like, oh my God, do you know what's coming to me? It's like when you do acid and you get into a bad trip and you think that like people's faces are melting off. They're not really melting off. That's not the actual reality, but like that's really real for you. And I swear I have done acid before, but I swear I've never done acid and had a bad trip. I only did acid one time. I was really young. Okay, so with all of that being said, how do we apply this to our life? This is what came to me today while I was meditating and journaling and all that. This concept that like you could take a wrong turn or choose a wrong path in your life. So I think we get this idea like, should I take this job, or should I go to that school, or should I be with that person? And then there's something in us that's like, we feel resistance, right? We feel resistance to that. But we also feel like, oh, but so many things are exciting. And then we're like, oh, should I take this job or this job? Here's the really, really important part. When we take it back to all is in the mind, right? It is not about choosing the physical path. It is about what our job here is clearing the doubts that are on the path to our happiness in our mind. That is our job. It's not our job to say, should I be with this man? Or should I be with that man? Or should I stay single? Or should I take this job in this place? Or should I take this job in this place? That is not our job to choose physical things. It's not our job to choose physical paths. We get really caught up with that. We get really caught up. It's like, oh, if you choose this, it's going to go down this road. If you choose that, it's going to do it. No, it's not. If I choose to clear all doubt on my path to joy, the path, the physical path will unfold for me. So if I have a little bit of joy when I think about this job, what my job is to think about the joy I have taking that career. Don't make any action if I'm not 100% ready to do it, but just think about the joy. I teach plenty of clearing techniques on how to clear resistance. Learn how to clear your doubts, because your doubts are creating, we know this, because the world is mental, because the universe is mental. We know that whether we're thinking doubts, fears, anxieties, or joy, bliss, whatever, that's what we're creating. That's the fun house that we're creating. So it is not our job to choose a physical path, because there is no such thing technically as physical creation just from the physical. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we think there is. We think it all comes from the physical, but it had to come from the mind first. And we do it so seamlessly that we think that it is our action that makes things happen, but it's really not. It's really not. And even when you break it down into, and again, we're going to talk about this when we talk about planes of existence and we talk about correspondence and all the other principles, but the physical is also just energy. The physical is also just mental. It's just such a dense energy that we're perceiving it as mental. Please, I mean, even when I tell you that we know through medicine, right, that the brain is controlling the physical. When I'm doing this, when I'm speaking, my brain is controlling that. We know that. We know that from medicine. We know that from science. So just that alone, we know that everything must be mental, like just from that alone. So it's like the reason that we see everything as physical, and it's harder sometimes for us to grasp these concepts, is that we're just so used to accepting and expecting that this physical world is here, that it's finite, that it always will, because in our mind we've accepted it. But we do have the ability to accept a new reality, to change that reality. Now, through other laws and principles, it's a lot easier to do it gradually. And I would, of course, recommend you do it gradually. And it's natural. It is the natural order of life that it happens gradually, that we change the way the world works. I mean, look at the way the world is today compared to the way the world was even 20 years ago. Like when I was younger, the world is different, We do, I wouldn't recommend, although it's possible, that people try to do a quantum leap. I mean, I think people just get a little bit too worked up about all this esoteric shit. There's no need for a quantum leap. There's just no need. It's like, if it would benefit you more to learn how to ride the wave of the natural world, to learn how to ride that and stay up with the momentum of the universe, than it would for you to try to go from this being your speed of momentum to this being your speed of momentum. Like, that's crazy. That's like the chances of you getting chewed up and spit out even more from that like mode of momentum. And now I'm getting into the principle of rhythm, but it would just, when we're talking from the mind standpoint, it would benefit you to just, from a very personal level, clear your doubts. That's it. That's how you can use the law or the principle of mentalism for your own benefit. Clear your doubts. Follow your joy. And understand that every choice is not a physical path to choose. It is clearing the mental path. That's all it is. It's clearing the path of happiness that's cluttered up with doubts and fears and resistance, and just clearing it and going, I don't want doubts and fears and resistance. It's not what I want. I want happiness. I want to feel happy. I don't care what it looks like. You can start off with just the feeling of happiness and not even thinking about what that actually looks like. When you start to think about the specifics of it, that's when it starts to take physical shape. Well, sometimes we can't start there. Sometimes we just got to be as general as possible. Sometimes it helps us to think on a general scale where it's like the all is one. And I am connected to all things, and I am connected to source, and that's a benevolent energy, and that is all things. There is nothing, and I am a part of that. Is all things, including me. That felt so good to me to be reminded of, that God is all, and that includes me, that I am just as much a part of God as every single thing in this universe, and that I also have the same power of God within me that every single thing in this universe has as well. It makes me feel a part of something, but it's a very general way of thinking of things, right? I'm not thinking about the physical world, am I? I'm not thinking about the physical world at all. I'm thinking about so much of a grander scale than that. And sometimes we need to go out like that before we can start to really whittle it down and think about the specific stuff. So, all right, I'm going to stop talking because you know me, I could talk forever and ever and ever, and I'm really trying to cut this short so I don't have a lot of editing to do. But I hope that now, I mean, this is a subject that you could go on and on and on and on and on with, I'm sure. But these are just some tips on how you can use these and how this can actually mean something to you, because otherwise maybe it doesn't mean anything to anybody. So I want to give you some palpable stuff that you can bring this into your magic and into your everyday life. I mean, every moment you should be, but it would benefit us to start to practice magical thinking at every moment. And what I mean by magical thinking is understanding that the world is mental, that everything that I'm seeing, my own personal experience was created from me. I'm 1000% responsible for all of this because I created this. And through my mind and my mind alone, I can create whatever I want and play with that, you know? All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you got any ahas from watching this. I love all your comments. You guys are so amazing. Thank you for continuing to support me and my channel. I will be letting my courses back out very soon. I have multiple courses. I have one called Love Embodied on loving yourself. I have one called How to Rock It as an Empath that teaches empaths how to rock it as an empath. I mean, that is a really important course for those who want to practice magic especially. I have one called Manifest from Your Soul, which helps you to ensure that you're manifesting what is in alignment with your own divine will. I feel like, oh yeah, Magic Mom Life for my witchy mamas that want to parent using these tools and these magical practices and principles and such. But those things will be coming out, so just prepare yourself for some things that I definitely will have coming out. These are courses that I've already done in the past, and now I'm just, tweaking them and polishing them up and getting ready to put them back out. So be prepared for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. And next week we will go on to the second principle. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell for notifications so that you get that video. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to connect with me outside of YouTube, head on over to my Instagram to say hello, watch behind the scenes stuff, and check out any special announcements that I might have going on. Now, if you haven't already, head over and watch one of these awesome videos and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next video, guys.
That's where my dreams come in and take me away to a better place where love is real